Hello everyone, Catweazle here, welcome to the channel and welcome back to our play-by video of Eldritch Horror and Cities in Ruin, where we will soon be doing turn 9, but not actually till tomorrow. Yes, I'm doing this a day early because something has come to light, so we've got to do a Catweazle's cock-up corner, and I've got to do it a day early to let the other players know what the outcome is. So what happened? Well, I made a mistake last turn, but for a change, it was not one that I particularly should have been aware of. It's one of those rules clarifications that came out. It's not obvious in the rules, and it was a case of people on BGG actually seeking clarification from the designers themselves. So what exactly was the problem? Well, it was to do with the Cocoon Elixir. As you remember, Vincent passed his will test, and then obviously we gain a boon condition. Now the boon condition that we got was blessed. So as per this card, if you would gain another blessed condition, you flip the card, and remember it talks around mystical peace and everything. Well, unfortunately that was incorrect, because Nikki Valens, who's a designer of the game, got asked a question regarding, I don't think it was specifically this either, but it was about something else, and while she was clarifying everything, it actually came out that if you get a random boon condition and it turns out to be blessed, you cannot flip a blessed card. If you actually read the blessed card, it says if you would gain another blessed condition, flip this card, and it has to be blessed. So what they mean is it has to say on, for example, this card, the word blessed. If it just says boon, that doesn't count. It has to be the word blessed. You have to be directed to be blessed. Just getting a boon condition isn't good enough. If you get a boon condition and you've already got a blessed card, you can't pick it. It's like any other condition. Yeah? You can only flip these cards if it specifically tells you that you are blessed again. We weren't. We were just told to pick a random boon condition. So we couldn't have that blessed card, and we couldn't flip it. So we had to carry on. Now there's another type of boon which is composed, but as you know, Vincent Lee is already composed. He starts the game composed. So there's only one type of boon condition that he can actually have, which is righteous. So what we're going to do is we're going to give this a shuffle again, and then we're going to carry on till he gets a righteous condition. So there we go. We'll give it a quick, and whoop, that's back to front. And we're looking for our first righteous condition. Here we go, and we're going all the way through, come on. And of course it's going to be like all the way through the deck probably. Oh, come on. Ah, righteous. So here we are with a righteous condition. Let's pull that there. So this is the boon that Vincent should have got. Now, we did have a reckoning, and he would have had this card at a reckoning. So we're going to flick it over and see what would have happened. That which does not kill us. The horrid creature wraps its foul tendril around your leg, pulling you into the dark. I'm not dying here, you shout, firing into the beast's flesh until it releases you. After escaping, you feel as though you could take on any threat. Discard any number of your conditions or improve 2 skills of your choice, then discard this card. So he's going to improve. He's got no conditions apart from blessed. He's not going to get rid of that. So he is going to improve 2 skills of his choice. So we'll get rid of this and we'll take those 2 away, and we shall see what we get. Let's have a look at Vinny. I'll just hold him up here very quickly. So what is he going to increase? I think he will increase his strength, because he may have to go and fight the Ancient Chthonian. So I think he will increase his strength, and if he's going to be fighting the Ancient Chthonian, well, let's increase will as well. Yeah, so by doing that, hopefully we will also help in guarding against losing health and losing sanity, especially when obviously we're doing combat. So his will's going to go up to 5 and his strength is going to go up to 3, and he's also blessed, so that should stand him in excellent stead if he has to get over here and take out the ancient Chthonian. I must say I'm a bit disappointed. I was hoping for another Advance the Mystery, because then we would have got rid of the ancient Chthonian, but we're still stuck with the ancient Chthonian, unfortunately. So I hope you see what we did there. We weren't allowed to flip the blessed card. We should have carried on till we got another boon. There's only one boon that Vincent can get because he's got the other 2. So he got a righteous condition. We flipped it because the Mythos phase had a reckoning, and he's been able to increase his will and his strength because of that. Now, we did flip that card, but if you remember, Bob did have he should he should have used his visions to actually flip it anyway. So I'm not too bothered about us actually seeing the back of the blessed condition, to be honest. You probably won't get blessed again anyway, so it makes no difference. Additionally, there was still a penalty, because if you remember, with visions we'd have been able to look at the 2 top gates in the gate stack, and we could have put them on the bottom if we wanted. So there is still a penalty through Bob forgetting to do that. So I'm quite happy taking that righteous condition and taking those 2 improvements. So that is the error from last turn, and we've now fixed that. I'll let everybody know what the upshot of that is, and the remaining players will plan their turns accordingly. Okay, so that is it for the introduction. That is it for Catweazle's Cock-Up Corner, and what we'll go through tomorrow is what happened previously on Cities in Ruin. I'll see you tomorrow. Shrewd Mel was not taking a liking to Pete destroying his creations. Pete, Duke and Archie could feel the oppressive force pursuing them across the waters to San Francisco. Pete had heard of troubles in Asia, and he was headed that way anyway. When was the last time that San Francisco had seen a massive cyclone? Pete couldn't recall. It did see one today though. As Pete and Archie secured passage to Japan, a wild storm struck. The only safe place was to get onto the ship and try to outrun the cyclone. It chased them and battered the boat relentlessly. The ship's crew were genuinely stupefied, and it was evident that the whirling mass was pursuing them. Finally, they outran it, but the ship was listing and needed repair. The crew spent several days making those repairs, but the ship was severely delayed, and everybody was both mentally and physically drained. Once the repairs were done, they would continue on westward to Japan and further. Shrewd Mel had not stopped them with his disasters. So here we are with Pete, and he's still got 2 focus, he's still got a clue, 3 health, 3 sanity, and he's still blessed, which is the most important thing. He's got Duke, the conspiracy theorist, medical journal, King James's Bible, Moxie, Satchel of the Void, fetch stick, and practiced. But a lot of good it'll do in this turn. Well, it will do in the encounter phase, but as far as the action phase goes, he's delayed. So poor old Ashcan Pete is not going to be doing a lot in the action phase. That's it for Ashcan. Next up is Vincent Lee. Vincent and Bob arrived at the hospital, and as much as Vincent wanted to stay with Bob, he had learned that Carolyn Fern, an old colleague and friend of Bob's, was in Dakar. As they had made their way to the hospital, Bob had developed a fever and had been muttering about Vincent, his visions and the temple of the Sphinx. Was that how Bob had found out where Vincent was? Through some strange vision? Vincent decided he needed to go back to Giza and to the pyramids, as he was sure that he had missed something there. He could meet up with Carolyn on the way and pass on to her all the information regarding Bob's condition. Meeting up with Carolyn had been the pick-me-up Vince needed. She had always made him feel so relaxed. Her calm, soothing manner washed away all the horrors of the previous few days. So here we are with Vincent. First thing to say is he's on 3 health, not 4. I know I had 4 health on him when I was showing you yesterday when we increased his strength and will. It should have been 3. That was a carryover of my little mistake from the turn before where I got confused about how much stamina he'd got back when he was resting, but I sorted out in the end. So he's on 3. He's still blessed, which is good. He's still got his Cocoon Elixir. He's relentless. He's got the Courier Run, which should have the clue on it. I must have jogged it. Sealing the Old Ones. The Sword of Yahatala, Skullduggery and Composed, and as we just seen, well, yesterday for me, but as you've just seen, he got +1 to his strength and +1 to his will. That is it for Vincent. Next up is Carolyn Fern. Carolyn was travelling by ship and ended up in a port in West Africa. As she was browsing the shops, she ran across Dr. Vincent Lee. She noticed he was in a state, rambling about creatures that were floating in air, tentacles and teeth. It took several hours for her to calm him down and to get out of him the true story. He verified the fate of her acquaintance Bob Jenkins, and her resolve to continue to Cape Town was solidified. She calmly brushed a spider off her arm and stared at the ship on the dock that was preparing to leave. She thanked the doctor and wished him well as she clutched her ticket and boarded the ship to Cape Town. So here we are with Carolyn, and she's in good shape. Okay, she's lost a couple of sanity due to the reckoning, but she is in better shape than most. So she's still got a dream diary, she's still got her Death 13 tarot card, and as you heard, she is going to try and get to Cape Town. So that is it for Carolyn. Next up is our final investigator, who is Lily Chen. Lily was tired and wanted to do no more than rest after leaving Greenland. She ended up finding a hotel in Arkham and falling face down on the bed. She slept for a solid 12 hours. Shanghai to San Francisco, to the wilderness, to Greenland, back to Arkham will do that to a gal, no matter how strong she is. Once she finally woke up, Lily took a tour around the town, including one of the old farms. As she walked around the farm, she saw an object in the grass and picked it up, brushing the dirt off it as she continued to stroll. It was an ugly old totem, but she decided to keep it as a souvenir from her Arkham trip. The weather began to change and Lily grew uneasy. The animals in the fields, the birds in the air, all began to move away from the area. The sky became deathly still. As she began running towards the old farmhouse, Lily stumbled in her haste, and darkness overtook her. It certainly did, because Lily is in a right state. 2 health and 1 sanity, and she is delayed. She cannot rest. She's ended up at space 6, so that's where the cyclone took her. And despite all of her stuff, Enoch, Guts, Elusive, Studious, Mental Prowess, Protective Amulet, Lucky Rabbit's Foot, Grizzly Totem, Ancient Sword and Binding the Spell, she's in a state. She's also had her observation impaired, but she's still got 5 will due to the couple of improvements we got previously. Okay, basically she's got to try and stay alive this turn. She'll have a generic city encounter and then we will have to cross our fingers during the Mythos phase. But what's new there? Okay, so that's it for Lily Chen. Next up is the action phase. And here we are at the action phase with Pete. And he's got a really exciting action phase because all he's doing is standing up. So there we are. That is it for Pete. Next up is Vincent Lee. And here we are with Vincent Lee. Now, the first thing he's going to do is take a rest action. So he's going to get 2 health because he's a doctor, and he's also going to get 2 sanity because Carolyn Fern is still with him. So that'll put him up to 5 health and 5 sanity, which is good. What's he going to do next for his second action? He is going to travel, and he's going to use the local path and go to the pyramids. We're going to try and shut a gate and kill some monsters. Okay, so that is it for Vincent Lee. Next up is Carolyn Fern. And here we are with Carolyn. First of all, she's going to gain a focus, and then for a second action, she is going to travel, and she's going to Cape Town, where hopefully she will be able to encounter Bob. So that is it for Carolyn Fern, and now for our final investigator in the action phase, who is Lily Chen. And here we are with Lily Chen, and yes, all she gets to do is stand up as well. So that is it for Lily Chen, that is it for the action phase. Next up is the encounter phase. And here we are at the encounter phase with Pete. So Pete's on space 2, so he's got to have a generic encounter, a generic C encounter. So let's go through the palaver and a cut, and let's have a read. In the middle of the night, you're horrified to see the ghost of a sailor who died in your cabin. Blimey. Test will. What's his will? His will is 3, which isn't too bad, and he's got blessed dice. So 3 blessed dice, and he gets 2 successes. If you pass, the spirit shows you a loose board in the floor. Gain 1 old journal unique asset. Okie doke. And there's the fail condition, should anybody want to read it. We want the old journal unique asset. So I shall dig that out, won't be a second. In fact, rather than go through this lot, I'll be back in a minute when I get it. And here we are, found it eventually. So, item tome, action, test, observation. If you pass, you discover information that may prove useful to your cause. Flip this card. So, groovy. So, that might be actually useful. His observation is 4, because he got an improvement, remember? So, pretty good. And he's currently blessed, so that could be something to do next turn. That is it for Ashcan Pete. So, next up, it is Vincent Lee, and he's a busy boy. And here we are with Vincent. He's got a few cards that I need to be aware of, so I've put them out here in an attempt not to make an error. Let's see how that goes. Okay, so he's got to fight these guys first. There's no way of getting around that. He's going to fight the Moon Beast and knock that gate over, but we'll put that right in a minute. So it's -1 on the will test, first of all. So, what's his will? His will is 5, which is excellent. And remember, he is blessed, so he's going to get 4 dice. One of which I've chucked on the floor. And he gets a 5, so he has passed. Ooh, that was only 1 though, wasn't it? That was only 1. And it's 2. Can he... He will... Yes, he'll take that. So he loses 1 sanity. And we get onto the important test, which is the combat one. So that is -1. He now has an additional strength, so that's 3 plus 3 for the sword is 6 -1, so he gets 5 dice. And we only need 2 successes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because we've already put 2 onto the Moon Beast. Poor old Bob managed that. And we get the 2 successes there. But he loses a health because that's a 3. But it does die. Yeah, we have killed it. But he loses a health. Hopefully I'll start rolling a bit better. But that was the nasty one. That was the nasty one. The mummy, hopefully, won't be as bad, because that's up next. So the mummy will be... We haven't used Relentless yet. We might use it on the mummy now. So it's a normal will test, and we've got to get 2 successes. So that's going to be 5 again. Let's get rid of these ones, which haven't been doing very well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoop. Oh, rubbish. Look at that again. Ugh. I don't want to use the composed. I don't want to use composed till the actual combat. So is that another... Yeah, we've lost another sanity. Oh, rubbish. Rolling. It's supposed to be blessed. Right, so he's down to 3. Sanity. Come on. Come on. Right, so the actual... Right, it's -2 on the strength, so he's going to be rolling 4 dice, and he needs to get at least 2, and we're going to do that relentless. That's on it. When resolving the strength test during a combat encounter, you may reduce the monster's toughness by 1 to a minimum of 1 during the encounter. If you do, flip this card. So that's what we're going to do. It's 3 toughness, so it's going to go down to 2. Let's flip the card. When the fight is up, well, we'll read it when the fight is over. Right, so we're reducing that to 2 toughness, and we have got 4 dice. Come on, we need 2 successes. And we get 2 successes. So there we go. Awesome. And we know we only needed 2 successes. Brilliant. Got rid of the mummy. And we flip this card. Now it's the end of the fight. You struggle to breathe. You have pushed yourself too far. Resolve 1 effect of your choice. Lose 1 health, then flip this card, or discard this card. We'll lose 1 health. That's fine. Yep, so we'll bear that in mind next time we use Relentless. Awesome. Get rid of that. And we've cleared the pyramids of monsters. So what we're going to do is... Oh, he's down to 3 health again, by the way. Now we've cleared the pyramids of monsters, we're going to have an otherworld encounter. So let's get the deck. We would very much like to shut this gate. See what we get. Lost Carcosa, always a laugh. You find yourself lost in a tower with stairs going all directions. The walls, the ceiling and the floor all look alike to you. You try to make sense of this strange labyrinth and find your way to the top of the tower. Test law. His law is 1. You are joking me. It is 1. He's still composed, however. So 1 die and we should get a re-roll, so long as we don't roll a 1. We roll a 2, so we're going to use composed. Come on, Vinny. A 6. Awesome. Just a last minute roll. Catweazle special. He gets a 6. On when it matters, he gets a 6. In the upper chamber, a masked figure wrapped in tatters sits on a throne. Uh-oh. It looks at you, filling your thoughts with chaos. Test will. Now that's better because we've got 5 will. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will. Come on. Let's have a success. Whoop. And we've got a 4. 2 4s. How badly have I been rolling with blessed dice? This is rubbish. But it's nice to see that old Haster has got a Catweazle kick in the pants again. If you pass, you harness its power to return yourself home. Close this gate. Woo! There's the fail. I'm not interested, but you can have a look. We have closed this gate. Brilliant. So if we get a monster surge this turn, at least we're not getting 2 monsters at the pyramids. Great stuff from our friend Vincent. The man's a star. Okay, that's it for Vincent. Next up is Carolyn Lee. And here we are with Carolyn Fern. Not Carolyn Lee. You wish, Vinny, you wish. So, Carolyn Fern, sorry about that. So, she is going to encounter Bob. So, we need Bob's card, and I've got his stuff there. Now, he got injured. Broken and bitter, Bob spends his evenings drinking away his pain. He no longer cares about his wares. Gain all of his possessions. That is excellent. We get the Otherworld Codex. We flip this immediately. The Amazon is our next gate. So, ooh. And she gets +1 law and +1 will. The museum curator joins her. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving a test during an expedition encounter or a Mystic Runes encounter. When you gain this card from the deck or the reserve, so we don't get the relic unique asset, unfortunately, because we didn't gain it from the deck or the reserve. But we have got the museum curator. The personal assistant will give us +1 influence and a re-roll on influence. So our influence is now up to 4. The Winchester rifle. Once per round you may gain +4 strength in a combat encounter. Brilliant. We may need that against the Chthonians. And we get the security squad. Ally, when resolving combat encounter you may resolve an influence test instead of the strength test using the same modifier. So we've got a load of stuff there. Excellent. Let's carry on with our encounter with Bob. One night he flies into a drunken rage. Bob, 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 Bob. You try to subdue him without making his considerable injuries worse. Test strength. A strength is 2. I'm wondering, can we use the security squad? No, combat encounters only. It's not a combat encounter. So we've just got 2 dice. Come on, Carolyn. A 6. Ace. Because we want a good ending for Bob. Come on, let it be good for Bob. If you pass, he apologises and confesses the occult secrets that terrify him most. Retreat Doom by 1. Awesome, awesome. There's the fail if anybody wants to read it. But Doom goes back to 12. That's brilliant. Poor old Bob. Let's leave him getting boozed up. He did well, and it's nice to get, you know, well, assuming that Shude Mel doesn't, like, destroy the world, hopefully Bob will eventually be able to put himself right. Isn't that the crux of this game? So let's get rid of Bob. You're gone now, Bob. You enjoy your drink. That is it for Carolyn. Brilliant stuff. And she's now 2'd up to the max, just like Bob was, so that's really good news. Okay, that's it for Carolyn. Our final investigator for the encounter phase is Lily Chen. And here we are with Lily. So she will be having a generic city encounter. Let's shuffle the old deck. And let's see what we get. City. The police ask for your help investigating a series of ritual killings. The grisly crime scenes threaten to overwhelm you with chills and nausea. Test will. That's fine. I think a will is amazing. Let's just check. Make sure. Yes, a will is 5. So he gets 5 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll take that 6 that Carolyn just got. And we get a 5. Awesome. Woot woot woot. If you pass, you manage to examine the scene and find significant information. Spawn 1 clue. Well, it's a good job we didn't fail, because I just spotted that. We spawn a clue. Awesome. So let's get the clue bag. Let's give it a shake, and the clue is going to Sydney, which is miles away. But at least she didn't lose 2 sanity, and that Doom that we just got back would have been marching on, because she would have gone insane. But she might still go insane, because that is the end of the encounter phase, and next up, oh yes, it's the laugh and chuckle phase. And here we are at the laugh and chuckle phase. Now, hopefully, we won't get a reckoning. There's a good chance we won't. I think doing the old calculations on the Mythos stages, I think we're okay, actually. I think we're pretty much bound to get a green card. I think we've had our 2 yellow cards, so we should be okay because we're not on the stage 3 yet. And here we go. So it is a green. Oh yes, and we've got like snowflakes again. Brilliant. So right, first off we've got omen movement. So let's do omen movement, and we go on to a green comet. Now we've got no green comet gates, which is bad news really, because it means we've got to spawn one. But we know what it is. It's the Amazon, because we got the Otherworld Codex back. So let's sort this out. And pop it there. And we will get a monster. And the monster we get is a Dole. Doles are a pain in the ass as well, I don't believe it. And it's got a reckoning on it. Look at this, 5 toughness again. We've got 3, we could lose 3 horror, will check -1, combat checks -2, lose 3 buddy health. On a reckoning, move this monster 1 space towards the nearest investigator, then each investigator on this space or an adjacent space loses 1 health and 1 sanity. Yeah, just the thing for Shoed Mel. Oh, that is crap. He's in the Amazon, and who's he nearest to? Yeah, that's right, he's nearest to poor old Lily Chen, who looks like she's going to have to do a swift runner. But, yeah. So she is just going to have to run off from this guy, I think. Because I don't think we can afford to have Pete sort of, you know, wait for it and kill it. Because Pete's got to get across here, he's got to shut Shanghai, because we're getting a bit too close to Red Sunburst gates. So that Dole is a real pain. So yeah, that's it, because it was meant to be a monster surge. We get 2 clues anyway. So let's get 2 clues. Our first clue is going to Space 5. So that's here. Our next clue is going to San Francisco. So we've got a couple of clues right close together. That's alright, isn't it? So perhaps Lily can get to San Francisco next turn. Just keep out of the way of the Dole. So let's have a read. To everyone else, it is simply an unimpressive curiosity, but you know that it's special. You know that it's the most important thing to ever happen to you, and now that you have it, you'll never let it go again. Unhealthy fascination. Event. The lead investigator gains 1 asset of his choice from the reserve. Awesome! Then he loses sanity equal to its value. Oh! Pete has 3 sanity. So for a minute I thought we could get the Curiosity Shop or the Willful Aristocrat. We can't, he's only got 3 sanity. I don't think we'll get the Sledgehammer either, that's 2, and that'd put him down on 1 sanity. So yeah, we'll take the Mystic Scroll. I think we've got to take... Yeah, he's got to gain 1. So we'll take the Mystic Scroll, which is Item Tome. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving a lore test. That's okay. The main thing is, he only has to spend 1 sanity for it. So, there we go. He's still got 2 sanity. It's not much good in getting the... I suppose he could get the Sledgehammer, because he's got a brilliant, like, rest. He gets loads of sanity when he rests. But he's got the fetch stick. He doesn't need the Sledgehammer. So we'll take the Mystic Scroll. And that does mean we get an extra asset in the reserve. So let's get the deck. So if we get something really funky in the reserve, that'll be good. perhaps we'll be able to pick it up, especially with Carolyn. Carolyn has got loads of influence now, although I think she'll probably have to go to the Heart of Africa with Vince. They have got some mystery solving to do. We get alchemical concoction, which costs 1. Item magical. You may discard this card to gain +5 strength during a combat encounter. It might be worth, she's on a city space, it might be worth her picking that up. Then we could discard it against the Chthonian. So keep that in mind, Dave. We'll put that there. Although, you know, probably it's best that she rests and then goes to the Heart of Africa. I think with the Winchester, she should be able to cause enough problems. If Vince goes there first, polishes off the Chthonian, then I think he will be able to take on the ancient Chthonian. He is blessed. So, yes, I think he will, as long as I roll a bit better than I did against the bloody Moon Beast and the Mummy. Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to polish those off next turn. And that's it, isn't it? So, yes. So we were right. Me and Lawrence did calculate right. I think the next one is a green card as well. So that's pretty good. So we'll get rid of that. And we desperately need Lily to outrun this Dole. She needs to rest. And then I suppose she can go to San Francisco. The Dole, I think we've got another green card if me and Lawrence have calculated correctly. So the Dole won't move. So she gets another space away. I think we'll be alright, yeah. So she can either have a San Francisco encounter or she can go for this clue that we've just put there. Pete's heading to Tokyo. And yes, because unfortunately he can't get a ship ticket. So he'll have to stay in Tokyo. But you can have an encounter there. He's on his way to Shanghai. So at least let's get rid of one of these. Oh no! 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 red sunburst gates. Even if we get rid of one, Heart of Africa, we could possibly get rid of 2. If we manage to kill these guys next turn, not only do we send the mystery on, and if we send the mystery on, is it Carolyn? Carolyn has got that Death 13 card. If we solve the mystery, that sends the Doom back again, so it go back to 13. Manage to shut the gate. So that's 1 gone, and then the turn after, which will get, yeah, he goes to Tokyo, then Ashcan Pete will go to Shanghai. Hopefully he'll kill the ghoul, and that'll be good, because then he can close Shanghai, so we'll only have 2 red sunburst gates. Yeah, that's a lot better. I was panicking there for a minute, but I think we should be okay. We just need to kill these guys now. We're in a lot better shape than we were. If we can kill these guys, then top banana. We're on the 3rd mystery, and one of the things about this game is where it does fall down, you get a lot of people saying, oh, you know, it's a lot better design than Arkham Horror and stuff. And it is in many respects, but this is where it falls down, you see, because we can now game this game. As soon as you're on your last mystery, if you're in a good position, like we pretty much are, look at the Doom there, we've managed to shove it back, so we can game the game a bit, because whatever it comes out, we may even just say, you know what, let's get rid of 2 of these red sunburst gates, and then we can leave it. We can leave gates. Forget about gates, we'll just concentrate on whatever the last mystery is. Yeah, because we've got Doom to burn. Well, not so much against Shudmel because we've got these disasters, but it may be that we are able to take it a little bit easier than we otherwise might, because we know how the game mechanisms work, and for once we can use them in our favour. So I am a lot happier than I was at the end of last turn. I think Lily is going to get away with it. I think she'll be able to move, she'll be able to rest, and hopefully Pete will get to Tokyo, may even get a good get rid of a monster encounter there. Excellent. We will, I think we can see these guys off now. I do think that Vincent and Carolyn as a team can do for him. Carolyn's in a lot better shape than Bob was. Vincent's in a lot better shape than he was originally. He's blessed. We get on here, we kill these, move the mystery on, move the doom back, shut the heart of Africa. Yes, feeling a lot better, feeling a lot better. Looking forward to the next round. Yeah. Anyway, I'm wittering. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for the subscriptions. Thanks so much for the views. Thanks so much for the likes and the dislikes, and for all the help and support as ever. If you've noticed me make an error, it's not unknown. Please let me know and I will try and fix it. Hopefully it'll be like the last few errors where it's actually going in our favour. But any error, please let me know and I will try and fix it. I'd like to thank everybody who's gone across to Board Game Links to upvote the site or watch a video over there, and similarly anybody who's been to Board Game Geek and liked the videos or commented on them there. Thank you so much. As ever, thanks for commenting on these videos. It's very nice of you. Thank you. And yes, I think that is it for turn 9. I hope you join me for turn 10. But until then, this is me, Catweazle, signing off. Toodaloo.